Good evening, gamers. Good evening. Welcome to Capping Television. What a horrible bit. Welcome to Capping TV. We're starting off our coverage of the ozfortress Spring 2025 season. Or what season is this, Ghost? What's season number-wise?
We're in season 44. I had a wonderful time looking at the back of your head for a solid 20 seconds while we were doing that. But anyway, yeah, season 44. Getting there to 50 almost. My God, we're getting there.
Yeah,
but
dude, it's
anyway,
we're all old men now, aren't we?
Yes. Look, a very exciting game we have coming up. I think this is probably the first time in a while we've also done a cast for a round one Prem game. Maybe it's been a long time.
Yeah, dude, I'm very
mistaken.
excited. Hold on, I have to tell someone off in the chat. Give me 1 minute. Right, there we go. All right. I'm very excited to see. I think this is probably the first week one game I've done in like years, literal years.
Time, no, it might be. You could be right.
Yeah, it's. I'm very excited. I'm excited to see. There's a couple of gamers here that are insane as well. I didn't even know half these people were playing again.
Yes.
But why don't you tell me about the maps first, I suppose.
Yeah, so classic week one. So quick overview for those also unaware. Prem this season features 9 teams. Top 8 will be making the AFL playoff bracket. So we'll have a qualifying final, elimination final, you name it. So top 8 will make playoffs. So pretty much this regular season is to determine seeding. If you're number 9, unfortunately, bye-bye, you're out. But speaking about maps, we are currently going to Process and Snakewater. 2 very classic pug maps that I think everyone's played God knows how many times. Which means we should have a really good game and everyone knows the map very well.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the quintessential Sixers map, right? Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. Like, when people think playing, like, TF2 competitively in Sixers, I think a lot of people's image in their head is Process. But why don't you also tell me about these teams? Because I recognise some names, but not all, and I know that some of them are renamed. I think Derp is called Ryan now or something, but why don't you tell me about Danci?
Yeah. I mean, on their roster, so the teams that are playing out will be Danci, which were seeded 3rd, and Freakoff seeded 7th. So a bit of a difference in the seedings. However, though, on the side of Danci, we have Flair as your combo scout, Straw Bunny as your flank, Omni as Roma, Zobal, Pocket, Ozzy as Demolition Man, and Tal as the medic. To be honest, a very solid team, very all-round team. It will be interesting to see how they pair against Freakoff, because overall, this server, I think everyone is quite even across the board. And in general, for Prem, this 3rd spot for, I guess, seeding for the playoffs, I think can go anyone's way. Your 1 and 2 is pretty much sorted, but everywhere else from 3rd down to 9th, it's, I think, pretty close, to be honest.
Rightio. Well, yeah, and I mean, facing them, they're facing off against the Freakoff here, which is a mix of players who, again, I had no idea they were still playing. We've got Varna on the flank scout, Dante on the pocket, Stam on Roma, Shooper on the old pocket there. Derp or Ryan, I believe his name is, on ozfortress now on the Demolitions Man, and Lev on Medic. That's just another fat roster that really is going to be competing in this division.
I mean, it's actually a pretty all-round round. So you got Varna and Lev, who both played last season in Prem, who had not the best season, to say the least. But anyways, look, it is what it is. They move on, and now we're in new season, so start fresh, basically. However, though, we do have a few returning faces coming back to TF2. The names of Shooper, who last played in season 36 on a team under the name of Goon Squad, which I don't know what place they finished, because I have had 4th, so they finished top 4. And he also did play with Lev. So, look, people have played together, and same with Derp as well, who hasn't, again, returning as well, who hasn't played Sixes in a while. I think the last time he touched Sixes would have been Let me have a quick
Very
look.
long time. Hold on, I'm hopping
Would
on the...
have been season 42, so not too long, but still,
Yeah,
he's
there
made
was
a
a
return.
big old
But
gap before that,
I think it's
surely.
important as well for the side of Freak Off. They need to basically be hitting their shots because Danci overall is a solid team. Everyone on that roster, Omni, Ozzy, Zobal, Flare, Tau, Straw Bunny, all are like playing the game so consistently. With the side of Freakoff, it's like, for example, Shupa, he hasn't played in a while. He still got it because I have been watching I have been watching. No, I have actually been watching Dante's streams and watching his POV and how the team sort of functions. And look, he's getting there, but question is, what form will he come into this game? Because it has been a while since he even has actually like last played the game. Because from what I saw, the last time he actually did touch the game before then was 2024, July 28th, and then non-existent until start of this year, really, and then come back in October again. So he took a long vacation.
Yeah, I mean, look, you gotta take your breaks. You gotta rest up before you come in to frag.
Yes,
I don't know. I'm talking garbage, but look, I do think this will be a good game, and I mean, for the first game of the season, I think it's a good one to watch. I'm jazzed.
Are you
mate.
cold?
No,
like
I'm jazzed. I'm jazzed. I'm so fired up, bro.
I think this game as well, being even all around, it'll be curious to see if Danci can, being a third seed team, prove that they are, I guess, that sort of spot where they got seeded. Because it'll be interesting to see how they play. Because again, same thing. I have been watching and seeing, their logs, but also mainly watching their streams, especially Flare streams, his POV on the side of Danci, and it's an interesting combination, I'd say the least, of not players, but the way their sort of comms work. Because Flare is your combo scout, so you sort of people, I guess, expect him to be more vocal and demanding, but it's very 50-50. He is one of the more, I'd say, not as vocal combo scouts. He's very quiet, or quiet. I don't say very quiet. He's quiet. He definitely can kill. Yes, he can frag, but you got the more likes of, I'd say, Tau, and probably Tau comms a lot, and I feel like it's like mainly Tau and Omni sort of almost doing the talking, with Ozzy chiming in, so as like almost a secondary caller, I'd say, on just his demo damage and what what needs to be focused on, and then Flare sort of just calls sort of small bits and pieces of information, but it does sound like a very interesting team dynamic. But curious to see how it does work.
I can actually imagine that working really well for them. I mean, it gives them everything they need, and as long as their scouts still showing up and fragging, like, it doesn't really matter if he's calling everything, as long as he's hitting all of his shots and walking around with 185, right? Like, that's basically the job. At its most boiled down aspect, I think that's really all you're really asking for out of a scout. So I think that's definitely a sort of method that could definitely work for them. And you reckon Freak Off is a bit more, I guess, like traditional in like the way that they're doing everything there? Or?
Freak Off definitely is. Last time I was watching it was Dante on the combo scout position, like he was calling sort of what he wanted to do, but now obviously switched it around. Well, it looked like on stream, whether they were in the stream, Dante flank, who knows, but he was coming a lot, so my assumption was combo scout. But anyway, look, they switched it around, and if this is Dante flank Varna combo, it does change things up a little bit. However, curious to see how it happens. I know Dante did play high last season, finished top 3, so really, really good showing as well. And it's sort of his, again, first season back, and now immediately jumping into Prem. But however, this guy's DM and, I guess, general aim is really, really good. And
he's a bit of a monster.
High to Prem.
Bit of a monster.
It's really, really good progression. But then again, it will be curious to see how he does face off. And again, I feel like he can definitely go toe-to-toe with the scouts of Straw Bunny and Flare. However, this is, I'd say, definitely, yes, maybe an uphill battle for the side of Freak Off, partially because they have, Shupa, who's returning to come back to play TF2, Derp or Ryan, who's been playing, I think, on and off. I don't think he's, like, fully quit.
Yeah, it looks like he had a pretty big gap between 33 and, like, 42 or something, but after that, he's been on and off. But it looks like, is that... Oh, no, sorry. I got all excited. I saw someone in the spawn, and I was like, oh.
Yeah. But overall, I think, curious. definitely curious to see Freakoff if they can pull off an upset and definitely trade maps, or even 2-0, which is, I guess, favorite-wise, Danci probably coming in as favorites, but overwhelming? Wouldn't
I don't
say
think so, man. I think this could go either way. And I mean, like, you're talking about how, like, Dante obviously has a bit to prove here. And I do think that they have the ability. Dante and Vanna are both, like, excellent scouts. But, man,
Definitely.
Flair and Straw Bunny is, like, coming up against them is a bit of a tall order, eh? Like,
Yeah, definitely.
Those two are both, like absolutely freakish. It's, brackets complementary. Like,
Yeah.
really, really, really good. So yeah,
I mean,
look, I think it'll be a very, very exciting game, and especially out of those scouts, and even the soldiers. Like, all the soldiers in this game are crazy too.
Yes.
I think we'll be seeing some pretty flashy stuff.
I mean, I do want to see what Omni can do on off-classing as well. I know Omni and Zobal do like to switch to off-class, go sniper, go build more of a flex. But in the side of Freakoff, it'd be curious to see Dante is probably the one I'd suspect will be doing a lot of that off-classing, a lot of that sort of supporting util sort of work. To be honest, don't really see the soldiers being type of players to off-class as much. To be honest with you, on the side of Freakoff.
My aging Alzheimer's memory with all of the CTE it has accumulated. Obviously, it's not the world's best, but Varner and Schuper both, I think, players that were really good with off classes.
Yes,
I would not be surprised to see either of them. I mean, he's playing sniper in the warm up. I can imagine a world.
Warming up.
I can very easily imagine a world where, you know, if they want to swap off and put a sniper on, if Schuper's feeling like not super confident with this soldier gameplay, and you know he was always a bit of a monster on sniper. I can imagine a world where they sort of just like swap things around a little bit and throw him on sniper. I mean, it just makes sense.
Definitely. But look, I think we're still waiting for one player to join. Omni may have said someone just woke up from their lovely slumber, which is good start for week 1. But then again, it is a week 1 game. Win or lose, trade maps, whatever. You still got, 7, 6. If my math is correct, 6 rounds left. Yes. Yeah.
If you want to win all the marbles, you got to start accumulating marbles early. It's you know you can't be playing the long con here. You got to be in there.
Yes, I mean, getting points on the board early is definitely a good start, especially with AFL. Seeding is all that is going to be very important.
Because I don't fully understand this AFL bracket. Can you give me like a short primer and maybe the viewer as well? Because I've definitely seen one or two people in there.
We got finally last player joining, but in a nutshell, it's the lower the seeding you are, probably the worse it is for you because you're going to be playing what they call an elimination.
AFL, NRL. AFL women's, I think. No, NRL women's.
NRL women's, yeah.
We also got the Queensland, the Brisbane team got the touch footy championship.
That's important.
We got them all, mate. We have everything.
Yes, but otherwise, we're actually going live. I guess let's quickly prediction for process. Who do you think is going to take it? My prediction will be, we'll go into Danci, but probably 4-2.
I reckon Freakoff could actually take this, man. I reckon it'll be a very tight scoreline, but I do believe Freakoff will be able to take this one. As we come into the first middle, we can see both teams facing off, the usual sort of process shenanigans as yet. Demo men facing off against each other. Stam in with a very, very aggressive bomb. Does not manage to do anything to the Demo man scouts there. Flair able to pick up 2. Stam and Varna going down. Schuper going down as well. Flair really showing up to this game so far. And that is like just one of the most won mids I think I've ever seen.
They also won that mid with a Omni sniper. As we were talking pre-game about sniper, Omni just went sniper to mid. So a very good mid win. A very dominant win, I'd say, coming out from the side of Danci, and obviously both teams not losing their meds. So pretty, it's just even Ubers on last already, and so much ground as well gained by the side of Danci, already taking this lobby position and trying to work Omni, which he is getting a little bit of space here. It looks like he wants to try swing wide on door 5. Does manage to headshot the soldier, but no frags as a result. Trying to work the sniper, though, still in lobby. Trying to get an angle on the med, but the med is playing super, super safe. And I think now they're just sort of relying on Omni to try go for some sort of pick on to last here, trying to work their way into something. Does spot the beam, but just getting tagged. So no frags as of yet for the side of Danci.
Yeah, and Straw Bunny did go down, I believe, in that door 2 area there, which is going to back them up just a little bit. But yeah, I mean, look, they've got the time to play with here. And a nice big full charge headshot onto Stam. That might give him a bit of an entry here. Omni taking a peek through door 2. Trying to find something. Demoman peeking, not quite able to make that one happen. But yeah, no, it's already an exciting game, even with the stalemate. I mean, the tension here. Omni is just peeking through every single door. No one's there to stop him.
Yeah, no one's... He's getting a little bit of pressure, I'd say, but however, though, he is getting sort of, you know, picks and also just general tagging or damage, overall body shot, headshot, doesn't matter. He's getting that damage, but however, though, there is a bit of pressure, yes, I'd say, but now, look, door 1, he's trying to go for a wide angle, does spot the medic, can he get the medic? Doesn't get the medic, the sentry does take him down. So that's effectively just a sack coming out, I guess, from the side of Danci. Omni getting taken out, trying to go for sort of hero peek, and no one pressuring door 1, so you see how dangerous it is as well for a sniper. Literally could just waddle in and just go for some sort of play on to last. But however, though, both meds do live, no one goes down, just Omni sort of feeding in, and Omni now going back to the soldier. So no off classes yet, just off class on the side of Freakoff being Dante on the NG for last.
Yeah, I do think Danci might have been planning something there with Omni coming back up, but they did lose Sunfish. Shupa managed to get out there and pick up the Demo Man. So as much as that sack didn't pick up the med, like I assume they were hoping for, it's given them, you know, a bit of a slowdown in terms of Freakoff here.
Yeah, I saw this. Oh, actually, tower dropping as well. Shupa just waddling at him. Never mind. That's a big play coming up from the side of Freakoff, and that sort of breaks the stalemate as well. And there must be a mistake coming up from the side of Danci. Door 2 not getting watched, and Shupa just waddling in literally. And that is full Uber now coming in for the side of Freakoff. So the question is, does Danci choose to do something cheeky, go for some sort of sack play? And we do see a bit of a play coming up from the side of Danci, though no frags coming out from them. And no force as well, so Lev able to walk out of last here. But as I was going to say, Danci were doing a play I was seeing from their scrims, just sitting on that ledge and spamming the sentry gun, just sort of, you know, going for a sentry gun sort of spam and then follow up with most likely the Uber or some sort of sack or pressure play, but unfortunately not working out though in their favor.
Yeah, I mean, look, it is what it is. I do think that Danci have done a good job of delaying this push here. They haven't been Ubered on. They've kept their position nice and strong so that they don't get full Ubered into. We can see Shupa coming in now, does get clipped. Stam going down as well. Sunfish able to survive by the skin of his teeth. And they might actually give him what they need here to get back in to the middle. They're trying to poke the scout through the choke. They've got a soldier through onto Lev. Uber gets popped. Omni does go down, but gets that force. That's actually a really, really good force here too. We can see the aggression coming out there into that middle. Lev down very, very low. Not quite down yet. Does end up dying. They've kept their Uber here as well. Stam still stuck in there. Not able to make anything happen. Shupa in. Going for another. Does go down to Flare. So does Varna. Goes down to one of the soldiers there. Stam's still stuck in there, but I don't think he's going to achieve very much. And that is nearly a full wipe. Dude, Danci really showing quite a bit of restraint and control there, being able to turn that one back around. That was awesome.
Yeah, Danci as well. Obviously getting the force and then playing back, you know, back out of choke. It looked like for a point they wanted to just use back into him straight away, but however, not using. And now basically, yeah, pretty much full Uber for the side of Danci coming into last year. So hopefully they don't botch his last push, which looks like they have already taken lobby here. So they are opting to go for sort of the standard sort of push here coming from door 4 here. Uber does get popped out on the side of Danci here. We've got Oz each pressuring out the right spawn here. However, now have not getting any cap time as of yet. A lot of pressure on the point. Sticky's still on point yet, and only a little bit of cap time. But however, frags, so 1 for 1 for both sides here, and re-healing coming up from the side of Danci. And Tao getting tagged down incredibly low, does get taken out. 3 plays down from the side of Danci, and this last push has not gone according to plan. And yeah, full Uber ad for the side of Freakoff, and a good last hold coming out by them. That cap play didn't... Flare, unfortunately, I think just missed a jump, and it looked like he was shooting the stickies as well. While, you know, he was flashed with Uber, but it looked like, yeah, just not getting any cap time because it looked like they were just going for a simple sort of, play for the cap and, get some cap time, but unfortunately not working out.
Yeah, they played it a little too slow. They seemed a bit disjointed about where they actually wanted to go. They stayed down on that low ground, held that right-hand spawn, but players just rotated around the left, and there really wasn't anyone there to do any damage while they were clumped, which is tragic. But look, I mean, I'm happy. Freakoff are moving forward here. Straw Bunny's still trying to take some fights here. They do have a sniper as well. Omni now going back. I wonder if he's going to change off that. But look, I mean, it's not dire straits. The Ubers are relatively even. Even if Freakoff wants to try to get in here, they've only got, 5% left. Yeah, that's even Ubers.
It's even,
yeah. But yeah, look, I think it's just... I was talking about the control and restraint that Danci was showing there. Complete back the other way. The restraint that the Freakoff was showing there on that last, being able to push them out and not overcommit to things. Really, really good. Shooper is insane. Shooper is insane.
Yeah. His directs are back. That's what he was. I remember back in the day, he was just talking about his directs or something. But look, he's doing really well, and already getting a med drop is proving that. But however, before it looked like I thought Freakoff wanted to go quick into it, but looks like again, as you said, restraint. They chose not to, just play it even, and just holding second here and keeping Danci on their last. So still very, very back and forth, very early days, but. Does Shupa choose to go for an off-class, or will he stay on the Soldier? And it looks like he is staying on the Soldier here, so no off-class for the side of Freakoff. So sort of just, I guess, waiting for, the play coming out from one of their Soldiers, or even a step coming out from the side of Danci. I think the only thing they can really do here as well, Dante sort of picking one, I guess just trying to gather some sort of info, giving some information, figure out where people are positioned, and curious to see if they can go for a play of some sort. But no play because Varna is down, but they do trade, so at least they do get a frag in return. So not too bad actually for the side of Freakoff.
Yeah, I think Freakoff are just trying to feel him out here a little bit, to see where they can maybe try to get in. Shupa in very, very deep, trying to pick up the Demo Man, thought he saw an opportunity. Stellan going down as well. That's unfortunate for Freakoff here. They also lose Dante.
Oh my god.
And Ryan. Oh my god. It's just Lev and Varna. Varna managing to take out Flare, unable to get that force, but it is looking dire straits for Lev here. Lev holding.
Oh my god.
He's such a strong bloke, I tell you. I would not have been able to. I would have popped ages ago.
Luckily, you still have Uber and Lev. He actually can't get through choke. He's actually stuck. This might... Oh my... He's
so low.
Much damage, but no use yet. And that... that was a very risky move as well, because Varna runs in and he's stuck with 70 HP. He can't walk through choke. He walks that sticky. He will just die instantly. That almost actually didn't work out for the side of Freakoff. But however though, still even Ubers, and I think they're just waiting for some sort of trade to happen. Or Varna looks like he wants to try muscle and try get something done, but unfortunately, keeping up the pressure, Danci is. But yeah, side of Freakoff have now walked in there. Lev sort of playing very, very...
This
not
is
scared, but very,
gorgeous
very reserved.
TF2.
But however though, still no trade. It looks like just very back and forth. They're trying to fake out something happening, but it's actually going in the favor of Danci a little bit better. And now Lev still not using. My god, this guy has balls off still.
I'm telling you, dude, this is gorgeous TF2. Somehow Freakoff have managed to turn that around. They've managed to cap the second. That was such beautiful TF2. Neither team used Uber. There was frags happening. There was an air shot out of Shupa. There was all sorts of stuff happening. This is gorgeous TF2, dude. Oh my god.
I mean, it looked like both teams wanted to trade or do something, especially the one before, obviously not during that play, but when this sort of whole chaos started, when Flare sort of just ran bottom IT just to run at the med, and then I guess he all thought Tao was following, but then Flare just gets, dropped it basically, but they still, managed to force them out. So, I don't know, maybe a miscombo or maybe some different ideas on the side of Danci, who knows? However, yeah, both meds not using for that chaos, and Lev, my goodness, he was eating a lot of spam and still didn't pop because there was some precarious moments in that exchange.
For that like whole 5 minutes, I think he got
Yeah.
one pack. He just like regen the whole time.
He just played regen. I mean, yes,
He's
it
a
works,
monster,
but
bro. He's a monster. I love him.
he's a little bit of spam. He's just going to be dying instantly, basically.
Yeah, but he didn't. He's a beast.
Yeah.
He's rewarded for his tenacity, I suppose.
Yeah, we have to say that. But at least they've taken they've taken second still, and Danci is, from all that chaos, back on last. So
Yeah.
I guess Freakov technically won the trade overall, I would say.
Well, I mean, look, there's 12 minutes left on the... Well, 13 minutes, sorry. I was rounding down a bit aggressively there. There's 13 minutes left on the map. No scores yet. I mean, this is tight gameplay. Both teams really respecting each other here. And the way they're playing it is sort of showing that. They're both playing... I mean, I don't want to use the word conservative. Like, they're still going for stuff, but... They're playing with the sort of respect that you see when you know it's like a fairly even match. But I think we can see they're taking a bit more lobby control. They're getting ready in there. They have picked up the sentry gun. They have lost Stam, though. Might slow them down as they try to get in here. Schuper's in there. Does pick up the next sentry as it was being built. But that's both soldiers down. That's probably going to mean Freakov has to back out here. Omni through into that upper IT area. Flare following up. Flare's been showing some dangerous moves so far. But with Omni going down, I think that's probably going to reset it. We do see most of the team out in that upper area just outside of lobby, but they do back up, and we're back to the same stalemate, Ghost.
Yeah, and this really good week 1 game, I guess, for casting a nice close game that we have in our hands. But as we say that, 2 scouts actually go down on the side of Freakov here, and Lev is already legging up. Both scouts down. Looks like they are falling back to choke, so they are losing ground here, and Danci hopefully can push out as a result of Freakov being 2 scouts down, which looks like they are gaining ground here on to the second point. Now, Albedo gets taken out, though, for the side of Danci, and looks like Lev is just playing Arrow Simulator, trying to re-heal his team here, but does have the scout spawns up now, and Danci, as a result of that pick, they don't get as much ground, and they're back to last again. So, even Ubers, and looks like, yeah,
Telling you, dude, this is such gorgeous TF2. But something's going to have to happen. 55 seconds before the round reset here, going back to mid. So I think it's absolutely Freakov's push here. They really have to make something happen in the next 50 seconds. I think they're probably just going to have to take this in. A nice wet push and just see what happens. Lev's really playing with danger. Ryan also playing with danger. They're going to need to get some heals in and do something.
Oh my jeez. You see Lev's crosshair, he's trying to tell someone to take a trade, do something, and finally
Here we go, yeah.
Uber pops out.
Yeah, they're getting sticks on that gun. The gun goes down. They haven't really achieved a heck of a lot else. They have picked up one of the players on the back end. The Uber finally gets used out. 450 seconds average on both of those Ubers before they get used. But it has sort of crumbled for Freakov here. They've still got players in last. Everyone having to come back and try to defeat these players. Dante going down. Schuper going down. Stam finally going down, only picking up Omni as a result. And I think that's going to be the reset. They're probably going to let it reset if they're smart.
Yeah,
there you go. 450 seconds, both Ubers.
That was
470 for one of them, 420 for the other. What the
10 minutes
fuck?
left as well, basically on the clock. I mean, we have a game on our hands, but that was one hell of a round to start off week 1 of Prem.
It's technically still the same round.
Technically, yes, it is, but still, I mean, it was a good start. But a new mid, so hopefully we can see a nice double bump come out from Danci, perhaps, because they have 2 soldiers now.
Maybe. Here they go. They're sort of peeking off against each other. Schuper's into that PC IT area. Stan going for a bit of a jump. Does get levitated quite a bit. Schuper now poking his head back out, trying to make something happen. They're jumping in. They're getting a bit of that top control. Schuper and Stan both going down very quickly. Pardon me. Omni with a nice big bomb on to stand there, and that's going to shut down the mid. We do see Danci taking this one. I think they took the last one as well pretty well, didn't they?
Yes, 3 players going out from the side of Freakov here, but Danci taking another nice mid-fight. Lev getting tagged down incredibly low, and that's also Derp or Ryan as well down for the side of actually Stam as well, so 2 plays down. So, make that 3. Okay, frags going in the favor of Danci, and plays trickling for the side of Freakov here. Danci could just sort of muscle their way onto last try, force out, and they are actually from door 4 trying to bait out point here, so trying to force some sort of trade on to the point and drop. Lev does get dropped. Uber gets popped out on the side of Danci here. Frags going the way of Danci, and a much better round coming out from the side of Danci here. Wipe and round 1 really on the board. So
Dude,
yeah.
Tip of my tongue. I was about to say, Danci needs to be worried about this Uber here because that's going to slow him down. The spawns are going to come out. It's all going to go to pieces. No, they knew what they were doing. They were just going to drop the med. Why not?
Yeah. And
that was great play, man. The way they turned that aggression from the mid and just pushed all the way there, kept that aggression up the whole time. Very, very beautiful.
And they lost 3 as well, and they were tricking players from the side of Freakoff, so it made Danci's life actually a lot easier and just sort of forcing out that, exchange there. But new mid, see if Freakoff can turn it around.
Yeah, Freakoff are doing everything they can here. They've taken that blue crate area, but they are pretty well clumped up. Stam goes in for a nice big bomb onto Tal, unable to make anything happen. They've lost Ryan as well. Shupa in pretty dire straits. I think that's going to be the end of the mid for Freakoff here. We'll see what Danci wants to do. Do they want to keep this aggression up again? Take it straight to last and get another round. I mean, they're looking confident. They're into that second area. They haven't managed to pick anyone up there or do any damage. So that is going to slow them down just a little bit. And I think we might be in for a stalemate here on last again.
I think so as well. So, get the sun chairs out, start relaxing. But anyway, yeah, both men's not going down. And this time, I guess good thing is Freakoff didn't lose 3 players basically at the same time. So this has now definitely made the life of Danci trying to, go aggressive a lot harder, but they do have a sneaky Frenchman, which means we're not on land, so we can actually talk about a spy finally.
Yeah, it was too worrying on land. I don't want to spoil the game.
Oh,
but yeah, we do see the sneaky Frenchman picks up the engineer, saps the gun. That's going to give them the entry they need, unless they lose their demo man.
I saw the vision. He went for the backstab, and then what's the gun he was using? The big owner, not big owner, sorry, the knife. I don't even know what it's called. The one that gives you speed. Anyway.
Oh, yeah, big owner. Yeah,
the big owner. Yeah. It looked like one go for a bit of a trick stab, but anyway. And Varna, I feel like there's some definitely indecisiveness on the side of Freakoff, because Varna's sort of eating so much spam, but that's not what you want with Lev dropping as well.
Dude, that is a bomb. Did you see that?
I did.
Holy
I
shit.
sure did. And he gets launched up, and that is not what you want. And now fully back from side Tal. But yeah, it feels like Varna is poking
Varna
as
yes,
well. But
dude, the spy out of last has always been my favorite play. Many moons again. Oh,
he has the wrong knife.
No. I was going to say, look, many moons ago, when I was a mere boy, there was a player who told me you should always try spy out of last. It's great. The Uber comes through. They pick up the sentry. There's still traps on the point. They lose flare. The med's kind of caught out here. Varna, the only player down. There's so many players up on the side of Freakoff. Soldier in deep onto Lev. Good pickup right at the tail end of that. That's actually really good for Freakoff here. That might actually give him some ability to turn this back around.
Good hold. But I think you should always check what knife you're running before you take it, because that was an interesting play. When I saw your eternal reward, I was like, interesting choice. But, yeah, Calgo getting taken down actually during all that sort of skirmish there. So, yeah, Freakoff actually favoring the tad better, but player advantage coming up from the side of Danci. However, they're not having heals though, and Lev and Sam incredibly low.
What are they doing?
And they actually managed to get the last point as well.
Oh no.
Oh my god.
2-0 to Danci. Here I was saying, nah, Freakoff takes this. What was I thinking?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very... I feel like this is... Despite how it's been going, it's actually overall been quite close, to say the least, especially these, like, very, very scrappy fights that are happening. But also, sort of, like, yeah, I guess sort of how these rounds are playing out, and especially how cautious both teams are playing. But yeah, another mid, so Freakoff need to change something up.
Cooper just got minced right at the start of that mid. So demoralizing. Ryan gets levitated as well. Dante in there trying to make something happen, save some players maybe, and able to make that. What does go down for it. Dude, I don't know if you saw Shupa get minced. He caught a pipe, he caught 2 rockets just like as he was in the air. He just got bounced. He just got pounded.
He's getting juggled. Not the best start for a soldier, but
honestly,
Danci actually making their way. Nice damage onto Lev, and Lev getting caught again, and really nice sticky, I want to say, coming out from Ozzy as well, aiming them really, really precisely. And they're so clubbed up as well, Freakoff, and just basically, you know, just getting, you know, damage onto everyone sort of simultaneously. And
this is another round,
just,
Ghost.
yeah, this has to be
It has to be. It has to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was really nothing you could do there if you Freakoff. It's tragic. I mean, you lost that many players, including your med, like, as you were trying to get out of second. I don't know. It's grim. But look, 3 minutes on the clock. I've seen this map brought back to 3-3 in 3 minutes. I've seen that happen before.
Yes. I mean, Danci slowly look like they're slowly actually warming up into it now, so it looks like those week 1 nerves must be out now. But otherwise, we do find ourselves on a new mid, and Ozzy already getting super aggressive and getting some nice stickies as well onto the side of Freakoff here, and they're getting so much space, Danci, sorry, already sort of just forcing the side of Freakoff back onto their side, basically into choke, and yeah, a very, very quick mid, just basically taking space, and the side of Freakoff already onto second, but no frags in, no frags on either side here, so a clean mid, to say the least, for both sides, no one going down.
Yeah, we love a good pacifist run. Look, I don't want to make any unfounded statements about my fellow capital G gamers, but I'm starting to think that Freakoff they've lost a bit of the mental game here, man. Like, things weren't really working out for them. Obviously, they didn't get a lot of the high ground. They didn't get a lot of the position that you sort of need on process, and so they did make a smart decision. But the force out of the soldier there, that's crazy. This is exactly what I was just talking about. I think they've got a bit of, pardon me, fear here that the team that they're up against might be just outclassing them a bit, and so I think they're playing a lot safer than they really want to be, than how they practice to be, it looks like.
Oh! Was there a tail drop to a trap? Or... Wait.
Blind death?
You got blinded, but was it a trap? I didn't see stickies on the rock. My HUD could be broken, I'm not sure, but he just got...
Oh! I said the stickies got bounced by a rocket.
Oh, that's so unlucky for Tao.
Completely blind dead.
Died.
That's crazy.
Stickies, my games must be broken, but my god, Lev has the biggest balls to face the medic there, and he does get forced in the corner there, but still living on 40 HP here. And now Freakoff actually, I guess for the first time, sort of in this round now have some sort of advantage and basically, you know, have a good amount of ad to play with. But the side of Danci though, grinding quite well in door 2, so this could even out possibly for last, or, you know, Freakoff need to move quickly, otherwise they might just have post for this last point. But it looks like an even Uber situation here on the last point for the side of Danci.
Yeah, 30 seconds until we hit that Banny config. I think Freakoff are pretty keen to get in there. They have used the Uber. They haven't picked up the gun. They haven't really done a hell of a lot. They have finally picked up the gun. They did get the force out as well. We see a couple of players mucking around in that lobby area, but otherwise it's going to be a bit of a reset. No players dead in that last push. That's actually, like, kind of astounding. But absolutely no one died on either end, except for a sentry gun. That's crazy.
They might have put the wrong config on.
Yeah, it looks like they have put the wrong config on.
So we got one more round to play. So, for those unaware, we use Banny config, Banny time, or whatever you want to call it. And basically, it's a first 1 to 4. Yes, realistically, the side of Freakoff can come back, but now we need to figure out what's going to happen. I'm guessing
it looks like the players they're coming to some sort of agreement where it looks like Freakoff are going to be given the mid and second, and both teams are going to get Uber.
Looks like it.
They know what scoreline they all need.
I think we first of all next time should check the config, but also we're saying, yeah, I think we're trying to come to basically come to agreement of what the situation is at hand. I don't know what's going to follow forward if we'll get admin to come help, but
I think the players they've come to an agreement. They seem pretty happy with it.
Yeah, Tal, I trust him. He's he's a trustworthy guy.
I don't know about that.
But look, I mean, I have to logs from the first 3 rounds. We might have to combine it.
No,
I don't know if we'll have
we
them on the screen.
We combine.
But
we don't talk about
let's-
logs yet, Ghost. The game's not over.
Let's wait and see what happens. But yeah, it looks like an agreement must have come through his Tau saying last hold even, blue needs 1, red needs 4. So basic banning config.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're just
The only thing will be
ready ups to
the
come through.
time limit. They need to make sure that.
Yeah.
Because, correct me if I'm wrong, the round timer decreases the longer the game went, so then it's like 2 minutes at the
basically,
end of it.
Yeah, correct. Basically, you're right. You're right on that.
So they might be missing that, but you know, it is what it is, I suppose.
It
they
is
can
what it
manually
is.
set that, but I you know, it's up to them. I'm not
Bit of a, you know, not checking the config, but I'm just checking to see if there's any. No, there's no commotions in the captain's Discord, so I was assuming they might be pinging an admin perhaps for help, but looks like I think an agreement must have been come into place for both sides here, so I guess we're just waiting for ready ups.
This might be a controversial opinion, but you do. I find a lot of players involve admins at the drop of a hat, and realistically, you should never need them.
No, unless you need to.
You already know what the rules are. You just like if you
Yes.
say, "Oh, hey, this kind of mucked up because we stuffed up the config,"
I think
all
that's
set.
fine.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. If you like have an agreement about like, "Oh, okay, cool. Well, we know what happens next, so we'll just do that." I think that's fine. And look, that might be my my inner Janny coming out, but you know, guys,
No, I mean,
solve your own
it is
problems.
fair.
You know what I
It-
mean?
It is fair, I think, on that end, but otherwise, I mean, talk about the first 3 rounds anyway. Like, from what we saw, it felt like Danci. I mean, yes, there were times where Freakoff did get down, especially that first round, which went on for basically almost half the map almost. But it feels like this like, oh, you actually have logs on your screen, Snazzy, speaking about that. But
Do I?
yes, our
Where?
producer has kindly done logs.
Oh, that screen.
on-
Oh my
yes,
god.
yes.
We do get logs.
But
okay.
yeah, but I mean, look, Danci, I feel like we're just slowly warming up into the game, is what the way I see it. Like, they took some time to definitely get into their groove, but from what we can tell right now in these logs is Lev ate a lot of damage from especially the skirmish, but I guess in general, sort of some of the sort of aggressive moves they want to do, like pushing out. But we are back into this game, and looks like we're recreating a scenario. So yes, okay, cool. So yeah,
So,
they're just going to chill
while they set up, we should mention there is currently still a time limit on the map, which is probably not ideal. And also the round timers are, they're not ideal. We do see Omni taking the fucking piss. Omni taking the piss. Wanker.
Flair just saying, excuse our troll, remain on last.
Use our troll. I don't know if I can excuse that poor sportsmanship, bro. Damn. But yeah, look, this is obviously, they're resetting in the method that they have agreed. Both teams are saying in the chat, yes, we're good now, we can start playing. So the game now begins.
Yes.
As we mentioned, Freakoff on red here, they do need to get 4 rounds in a row to get the win. If at any point the blue team scores a round, that is it. That's the end of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's also on to Snakewater, but yeah. Looks like, Danci stuck on their last stand. Looks like the stand is sort of last hold. Straw Bunny with the sort of anti-sack sort of gun, a very hard gun to sort of counter. It can be spammed, obviously, from that sort of door 5 angle, from that window ledge. But, however, though, we do actually have a buff banner, if I'm not mistaken, is what Old Mate's got in his backpack. Is that correct? Omni's got the buff banner, is that it? Yes.
Show me. Hold on, I gotta fly around. I'm in that third person.
2.
Oh, dude, what a beast. I love a buff banner. That's a real statement of intention, too, because obviously we've seen Danci be able to push out turn things around.
Sorry to cut you off. Double banner, actually. Double banner.
Oh, dude, like, you could cut glass with my nipples at that concept, man. I love a banner. That's crazy. Yeah, look, Schuper taking a bit of a wide peek through door one there. He did feel him out with a bit of a bomb in earlier, and he swapped on over to sniper now. I told you, man, I reckon he was definitely going to end up turning onto the sniper a little bit.
He's warming up on the sniper, but they got the battalions, if I'm not mistaken, like, from memory, and the buff. So a very, very good combo, but they need to get damage to build it up, which I'm hoping they are.
Omni's definitely buff banner, and yeah, that is the battalions back up. Yeah. Ooh, nice 2-rocket out of the soldier there.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's a good little boost for their little banners, but Schuper trying to find an angle of some sort, but Ozzy just putting minefield down, he's going for the wide peak, and unfortunately just gets obliterated. That is Schuper getting taken out on the side of Freak Off. However, shouldn't matter too much as Dante is spawning up, so basically just a player down, but the Freak Off now forcing back on just a second here, but, I mean, sorry, yeah, Freak Off forcing back in the second here. Danci, though, getting a little bit of ground in the lobby with their demo and soldier, however, most likely just trying to get that buff banner up to speed, which
they've been alive for so long, they must have the buff banners already.
Look at the HUD, actually, speaking about that.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, I just realized. That is very cool. It is almost there.
That is the coolest thing I've ever seen. All right, cool. So, Omni popping his. Is he going to hold it? It does look like he's holding it for this moment. I'm not sure if they heard the trumpet. We hear the other trumpet ready to go. Both soldiers, buff banner, and the battalion's back up. The Uber gets used as they try to go into the lobby there. And now the counter Uber out of Danci here. They're trying to get out there. They're trying to make some stuff happen. Schuper in that door 2 area does get absolutely minced. We do see Stam picking up Sunfish, the demo man there, as they try to come on out, and that's going to be the end of all this fighting. It's 2 down on both sides. We still see a bit of poking going on. Zobal trying to fight from that door 2. He's down very, very low. But everyone gets back to where they were, and we're getting close to a round reset once again.
Yeah, I mean, that buff actually worked out quite well. They forced the Uber out on the side of Freakoff there, and then the Uber gets popped out again on the side of Danci, which they do manage to get fragged. However, they couldn't really push out too much. There was still players up just sort of spamming and sort of making them stay on last. But it is Banny config, or timer, technically. So staying on last doesn't actually Lev getting taken out, but do they even choose to push out or just play for a round reset? I think it is just going to be a reset. Yeah, Lev dying at the sort of pointy end of all that sort of chaos. But, yeah, that's the first round sort of Banny timer over, and now we go again. So, same thing. Danci need 1, Freakoff needs 4.
Yeah, I mean, look, one of my major criticisms for this config, beyond the fact that it's American, one of the major criticisms I have is the fact that with the round reset, you're really not incentivized to actually push sometimes, and that's one of those occasions where, for Danci there, it just makes sense to stay in last and let it reset, especially since coming into this mid, they picked up Dante, they picked up Schuper, they picked up Varna, they picked up so many players, they've only lost 1, their demo man going down, Tal is quite low, but that's not a problem when they pick up 1 last player. It's now just Lev trying to get away, 50% Uber, so many players chasing him. Are they going to be able to make it happen? They get the first rocket, they get the second rocket, and that is the end of it. It is a delayed wipe, but a wipe nonetheless.
Danci can just probably just muscle their way onto last straight away. Schuper coming up on the spy, I'm guessing it's just a check sort of off. No, he's actually committed on the spy. Never mind, I was just checking off classes. So Schuper on the spy coming up 5. No one hears him. He just wants to go for a pick. Does get the soldier. So that is a play down for the side of Danci for this last push here. However, Medic only just spawning now. Uber does get popped out on the side of Danci. Will this be the last round? Sorry for the side for Process here. But however, frag. So only Schuper down from the spy. And nothing really happening though. Demo gets taken out on the side of Danci. And this last
push
is
a great hold.
Going too well for the side
this is an insane hold.
Danci.
This is what? How did they? What an excellent hold. The gun delayed them just long enough. They picked up the demo man on the backside while no one was looking. They had the heavy up and no one was close enough to do the damage.
Even at the spy. At the spy.
It's just beautiful TF2. This whole game has been insane.
They're utilizing the off classes. They want to get votes in early for best util. Oh.
They're playing the long con for the util fucking votes. Come on, man.
But look, like the backstab on the soldier, definitely I felt like that definitely threw the push off. But nice grinding by Tao, and basically even the Ubers out. So this just turns into a trade, and it's actually going to be a little bit better for the side of Danci here with Derp or Ryan getting taken out, and that is actually a really, really crucial frag for the side of Danci, but that's Demo as well down for the side of Blue here with Ozzy getting taken out and Tao sort of backing out, but 3 placing out for the side of Freakoff there, including Lev, and that is Tao and Straw Bunny legging it back onto their second, back into, looks like just sitting outside 1 there. So not going too well for the side of Danci, however, getting Lev, definitely crucial there with basically 50% Uber out for the side of Danci.
Yeah, look, not to get too poetic, put too much gravitas on a Team Fortress 2 video game, but it was a perfect example of hubris of man. You could see they just got a bit distracted by the fact that they were sort of winning that fight. They picked up a couple of gamers that were very important. They could push forward, and they just got a bit distracted. One soldier, Zobal, able to push straight on through that sewer area and just pick up Lev. Like, it's basically zero resistance, really. But look, Danci are pretty keen. They've got this full Uber here. They do get forced on their way in. They picked up 2 players already, I believe, Shupa and Dante. They might pick up a third, stand down very, very low, but not quite able to pick up that frag. But look, as I've said this on a million casts before, Marxist said, if you pick up 2 players in an Uber, it's a good Uber. It's a relatively decent Uber.
I think the 2 soldiers were hiding behind as well, and that sort of forces out and forces the Uber from Tao here. But now they do come up with the Omni Sniper here. So go for a pick, does spot the med there. It has been called out definitely from the side of Freakoff there. So now Lev having to play a little bit more scarce. Uber does get forced out on the side of Freakoff, and that is Tao legging it out of Choke here. And having basically Shupa going for the wide plate, doesn't manage to catch Tao, and that's, yeah, full Uberad for the side of Danci here. So really, really good force coming out from the side of Danci, and now they should be able to retake this mid, hopefully, and let's see if they clear their angles next time. Yes, time clearing sewer flare is, so no flankers.
I told you. And they've still lost a player in sewer. I don't think they know Stam's in there. He's jumping on out. He's straight off the towel. Oh, I'm not quite able to make it happen, but that's all right. Yeah, look, this is just good. This is good for Danci. I think they're in a position that they can definitely turn this into a round, especially if they pick up Shupa in this. No, they didn't pick him up. They actually get forced super early. No one there to prevent the scout. They do get the trade going, but they lose their demo man in the midst of the trade. Flare's almost definitely going down as well. Single-digit Harry Potters. 3 health. Is he going to pick up Lev?
Lev is...
Oh my god, dude. How did that happen?
3 HP Flare just comes in and cleans up. Like, Lev is... rough game, but look, he's doing what he can to stay alive, and it is unfortunate that Flare just literally managed to take him out and he's got his whole team around him effectively, but that actually has kind of benefited, again, Danci a little bit, Danci and I guess both sides here, because it is basically just even Ubers. So Danci, actually, sorry, I don't know why I can't contradicting myself here, but Danci has come out better with that sort of exchange here, just allowing the Ubers to even out, and now able to actually get some ground on mid as well.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a pretty dominant hold out of Freakoff here. They're definitely looking to freak off. Sam got absolutely minced by a rocket to the head out of Omni while he had the equalizer out there. Or sorry, the what's it called? The new one? Escape plan.
Escape plan?
The new one. That was like 7 years ago. What's wrong with me, man?
I think that weapon came out a long time ago.
It was literally like more than a decade or something. Anyway, yeah, they were looking pretty good, but now they are not. Omni now bombing on in, getting a lot of damage on the left. The force comes out. They haven't actually lost any players here. Really good Uber so far. Somehow not losing anyone, even though everyone was quite low. But it's not as good as one would hope for, because Tao still has his Uber there.
Yeah, they sent 3 plays for it as well, and Tao having Uber immediately, it looks like Tao is calling something, immediately go IT. They want to go quick with it. I think that looks like the play. Uber does get popped on the side of Danci. A Straw Bunny getting launched in, doesn't manage to catch Lev though, unfortunately. And that is just Soldier getting taken out on the side of Freakoff. Actually, 2 plays against Dante and Shupa getting taken out on the side of Freakoff here. So Frag's going in the favor of Danci here. However, though, Uberad though in favor of Freakoff. So they do have some sort of positives coming out of this little exchange that we've just had there. But Danci, though, look like getting buff and gaining ground very slowly here and working their way onto second. Yeah, and looks like ground is getting given up by the side of Freakoff here.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think Freakoff are maybe showing a bit too much respect here, frankly. I think they could have been a bit more aggressive. They're looking to come straight back out. They Ubered without looking. They have wasted so much of this Uber. I'm going to be super, super critical of this, even though I do it every time I play the game. Yeah, look, that was... they used out hoping to sort of bait players in the second there. I mean, it's like a classic strategy, especially on maps like Granary, where you can catch players out on that second and sort of mince them. Process is a bit more flowy, and they didn't really bait players in the second enough. Schuper does get the force as Thingo comes back in. Thingo. See, look, I've actually got to mention that. I can't remember the name of the team.
Tao. Sorry, Tao.
Yeah.
Tao.
Yeah, look, they get that force to sort of bring things back around, but I do think that the Freakoff here are showing a little bit too much respect. Honestly, I think they could have turned that around.
Yeah.
But maybe they should continue showing that respect as Zobal able to come in and single soldier sack, waddle up, and kill their medic. So maybe they should show a bit more respect.
I just realised, actually, Lev just died.
Yeah,
on my
that's
screen, it's different. My HUD's a little bit wacky, but anyway, Lev, yeah, okay, Uber ad. But I was going to say, that Uber flare getting taken out, nice shot by Varna onto flare there. But that Uber coming out from the side of Freakoff was interesting. Yeah, it was... just no info. They just bombed for. They just used Uber for shits and giggles, basically. Trying to gain space, sort of leapfrog it is probably what I would be guessing. But yeah, just sort of, I guess you said, playing off no info. And nice headshot on Varna onto Omni there, but Omni does manage to survive on 20 HP. And looks like a fast play coming out from IT and into 2. And that's Lev getting taken out, and Frags actually going in favor of Danci. Will this be the final round of Process? I hope so.
It might just be the sentry gun very, very low, but not quite down yet. The NG goes down, so does the gun, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is it. That is it. We finally have a winner of the first map of the first game of Season 44.
Oh my god.
Danci able to take that one 4-0 over Freakoff. But I tell you what, a 4-0 scoreline does not really express... the game that they just played. Yeah,
definitely. I don't feel like it does as well. It definitely felt very back and forth, forward. But what you mentioned as well, especially about Freakoff giving the respect part, that was, I agree with that. Like, it felt like interesting. They were just backing out, sort of whenever. You know, they see them take one single step on the second. Oh shit, they're in. Okay,
yeah,
back
they're
out.
like, oh, we better play this safe, guys.
Yeah, we gotta play Highlander on last here. But however, I believe these logs should be combined by looks of things on our screen. They are so.
Yeah,
amazing game coming out from Flair, to say the least. First of all, 32 kills from that sort of very, very sluggish game. But when you look on the side of a 4-0, 5-0, what?
4-0.
4-0.
Yeah, the HUD's a little bit wonky.
Yeah,
I think because they were playing an extra round when they ended the map. I think it just got a little.
When you look at the sort of mid-fight conversions, my goodness, Danci definitely had better mid-fights in the amount of space. And I was want to talk about the rollout as well. Ozzy was doing. He just simply rolled out onto sort of their pack, but just immediately spams their choke, and the amount of damage that Freakoff sort of ate, because everyone sort of clumped in that one area, was insane. And then Danci just sort of able to capitalize on it and just sort of go aggressive, and then Freakoff just not able to work their way back onto mid. I also do want to point out as well, looking at the deaths, is Schuper dying 30 times, but
that dude was involved in everything. He did 10,000 damage.
He was just trying to make space. One thing I do want to point out is he did get 3 med picks, so like 9 soldier picks, 1 demo, and 4 scout, but I feel like most of his frags were something. Like, he was trying to do something.
They were all useful frags.
Like, useful frags. Like,
yeah,
it wasn't that bad. Like,
it wasn't just like piddling, like, oh, I picked up a scout on the flank and we weren't able to push off it. It was like, every frag had impact. Yeah.
When you look at it as well, being even all around, definitely one thing to point out is the side of, I was about to say, demo, obviously, Derpy having only 191 DPM. However, though, then you look at the side of Ozzy, 10 for 10, 230, only a slight difference, so very even around for the demos, despite the fact, you know, how the game went for Freakoff, Obviously, when you also look at the general sort of med stats as well. Obviously, both meds dropping twice. But the way the game was going, it was so scrappy as well. But it also looked like there were definitely a few, not miscoms, but different ideas thrown around, especially the one situation I want to point out in process lobby on the side of Danci, when it was that sort of last moment of push and Freakoff was already in their lobby. They want to push, and it looked like Lev was calling something he wanted to use through, or something along the lines of that, and eventually sort of eating too much spam, having to force in the end. But it looked like that sort of play was called. But then even the side of Danci, like that sort of push coming out from last with Tao before the chaos where we said Lev milked for his life, basically. Sort of Tao dropping flare. But,
I would actually argue with you a little bit about the sort of like manky gameplay, if you know what I mean. Like, I would say it was not as messy as you're making it out to be until sort of the last, especially that like last round there. We could see specifically Freakoff was sort of like a bit more disjointed.
Yes.
And I do think that a lot of that is, like we've been saying, just a bit too much respect, a little bit of fear, maybe a bit of that mental game sort of not going the way that they wanted it to. And I mean, first game of the season, you expect to be a little bit jittery. You expect to be a little bit odd coming into it. Yeah. And, you know, you just haven't been playing with each other for that long as yet. So, but yeah, I kind of agree with you, but I just want to argue about it a little bit because I do think
I see where you're coming
Freakoff
from
in particular were very cohesive, at least for like the first half of the map. I think after they started losing, they just got to be a little, you know.
Yeah. I agree on that part, what you mean by cohesive at the start. They definitely were, but then, as you said, I do agree. They sort of fell apart. And even so, like, they do have players like Vano who've played for, you know, countless seasons, legends. So they have some very experienced players, which you feel like they would have told them to calm down, reset, go in, especially a player like Dante who prizes himself. I know for a fact he just wants to see him kill and frag. And despite the fact, you know, the game, he's only getting 121, like, you know, damage. To be honest, like half that, if he sees that log, he's going to say, oh, I played like shit. But to be honest, half that game was just him on last, sort of playing NG heavy. Just, you know, they were on the back foot half the time. You know what I mean? And that also pairs into that respect factor as well, backing up to last. And then him going, oh, okay, I play NG or heavy, basically.
Yeah, I mean, look, we don't want to convince any viewers here that you shouldn't respect your fellow gamer. You should. You have to respect your fellow gamer, or I'll kill you. But I do think that they were maybe being a bit too fearful, or like not as conscious of what they could do in certain situations. They were looking at stuff and going like, I don't really like the look of that. It's not a very good advantage.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know. I just feel that they could get a bit more into it. But you know what? We could also get a bit more into Ghost.
What?
We could get into a little bit of Summer Brawl promo.
I forgot about this. Yeah, Summer Brawl, January the 17th, ozfortress at the Bliss Internet Cafe. I forgot about this, but yeah. Regardless, 17th. Come join us for a nice one-day LAN. You might catch Snazzy on the barbecue. You might catch us on the couch. Who knows? But it will be very fun. And let's pray that it doesn't rain, I guess.
Well, look, last year was pretty good for the rain factor. It didn't storm the whole time, and it turned out my gazebo that is supposed to only work for sun did only work for sun. It didn't have to compete with a decent storm. But look, we probably shouldn't talk about it too long. But yeah, if anyone's thinking about coming along, you should definitely come along. It's a lot of fun. Even put together a pug team, man. It'll be fresh. I'll hop on with you. It'll be great fun. But yes,
games, but
we better get back to the game in the meantime. What's our next 17th. Map here?
Snakewater. So another classic pug map, but again, before obviously we did the promo, but I do agree. Freakoff need to not play respectful. They need to sort of, you know, they're losing second. Can we find that advantage to take a trade? You know, if we don't see them moving on, you know, to second, they need to get ground and start holding, you know, spamming them out, not letting them come in so easily. So I feel like Freakoff just need to change and just not play more aggro, but play more aggro, but also I feel like play a little bit more looser and not too tight or too respectful almost. They can't be too passive, basically.
Yeah, yeah. I think that has been their major letdown for the second half of Process there, was that they were being quite passive. They were letting stuff happen to them rather than making things happen themselves.
Plays.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm excited to see how this turns out as we go into the first round of the second map of the first
Week 1.
Week 1 of ozfortress Spring 2025. I'm running out of breath.
New map now, and obviously a new mid here. We are on the cam of the side of Danci here. Flare looks like just getting a bit of spam across on the roof here. Nothing too crazy. Both teams exchanging spam. The first aggression coming out from the side of Freakoff. Flare does take out Shupa immediately. First frag going down for the side of Freakoff. Omni does get traded out by Vanya, and Stam as well taking out Ozzy, and Straw Bunny as well taking out Stam here. So it looks like trades going back and forth here, and it does look like the side of the side of Danci here look like getting the upper hand here. And
no way!
The side of Freakoff and Flare going for a bit of a tear. Zobal coming and finish off, and that is effectively a wipe, and Tao living through all that sort of scrappy skirmish here, and that is, I feel like, actually a much better round coming in from Danci. Much better and clean, not cleaner, but much better round, and a much better wipe sort of factor coming out from the side of Danci.
Excellent push and pull aggression. The tension and release was like listening to Powderfinger, man. That was fucking, that was just beautiful. That was really, really good. Out of interest, you might be someone who might know the answer to this one. Does Flare still play with a controller?
Yes, he does.
Oh my god, I hate him. He's such a monster. I just so good at the game. Sentry going down as they look like they want to push straight on into last here on the side of Danci. They have picked up that sentry once again. They haven't really picked up many players. They've got a bit of position, but nothing to really write home about. There's quite a bit of defense about to come their way. Lev about to get the Uber as well. This is really going to cause problems for them. Lev does not end up using until the last safe moment. Dante literally on one Harry Potter there. Does go back to respawn. Tal in that lower area does get picked up as well, and it's a full wipe. I think Danci needed to play that one a little bit quicker, don't you, Ghost?
Yeah, I mean, look, another Danci sort of, they get the advantage conversion, and unfortunately not be able to convert the round as a result. Omni already coming up on his sniper, watching the catwalk position, but also half that Uber, to be honest, was basically out. It was on demo actually for a lot of it. I just want to point it out. Ozzy had most of the Uber, and then Flare sort of came in last second to take a little bit, but unfortunately they couldn't get anything else with it because that Uber just sort of faded instantly as soon as Flare sort of came in, basically, at that point. And then Frags just not going their way, and then the side of Freakoff getting Uber in time. But Omni on the sniper, causing a bit of havoc, does take down Shupia, and staying on the sniper committed the catwalk here. And as a result, Danci working their way back into mid here and able to hold on to the second point. But Uber coming up from the side of Freakoff, and it looks like a classic demo catwalk Uber. And can they get anything as a result? Omni getting tagged incredibly low, but looks like no frag. So actually has roll of that Uber. So a leapfrog situation perhaps is on our cards.
I think it might be. This is like the same mistake that we saw. Oh, what a shot! The super wide peak on Omni. That's crazy. Picking up left.
Yeah, classic. He went for the hero peak.
Yeah, they don't even have to use to get into mid there. That's crazy. But there is still so many players in there trying to make things happen. They're on that second point. Players having to go back for it. Stam still there. About to get picked up. Shupa's in there. Also gets picked up almost simultaneously, and Tal able to retain that Uber. But what I was going to say is that was the same sort of mistake that we saw Freakoff make on Process there, where they were using in without getting enough information about where the players were to actually make it very effective, I think. Again, I'm talking garbage from the lowest rung of Team Fortress here, but I just think players like these, I know that they know better. I think they're just like a little bit tilted once again.
I mean, I feel like the push as well, the really reason why I was called, I understand about the no information part, but I feel like as well, they only use because of a sniper. They just said, fuck it, we'll send it. But I do agree, they need to gather some sort of information, but they are getting Uber here. Now, finally, I see what you mean by no respect, because they are finally taking the second. They don't want to give it up for free here, and is it a possible, doesn't look like any sort of trade. They do force them out, so finally.
They've forced them out. They've got two peaks, including the demo man. This is their time to shine.
This is absolutely their time to shine. They're keen. They're going through that lower area. They picked up the sniper nice and early. They haven't had to use yet. There's no one really there to force them to use. They picked up a couple more players. The Uber does get used out of Danci. Then we're going to see Lev going to have to use here, but they've lost quite a few players. Varna and Derpy, or Derp, or that person is still around. But they're sort of trapped on the middle there. We do see Zobal jumping in behind, able to make some stuff happen. They just weren't able to clean up enough players towards the tail end of that fight to make it worth it. That's tragic.
I mean, a good move actually by Freakoff, taking an aggressive angle and pushing onto second. Finally, what we meant by that respect sort of move, you know, not giving up so easily. They finally took it. However, though, that Uber, despite... Oh, actually, hang on a second. A big bomb coming out from Uber does take down Tao! My goodness, that is what you want from the side of Freakoff. However, though, second point getting captured here, but I don't think Danci can make any sort of moves onto this last point here. Lev coming out with 30% Uber. But as I was saying earlier, though, that sort of play, they do manage to, you know, muscle in and then force that exchange on mid, but that Uber was milked, I feel like, for too long, to the point they lost 3 players, and it sort of, you know, screwed over Freakoff a little bit, I feel like.
I mean, look, it's a delicate balancing act. You don't want to use too early so that you end up getting, you know, shredded by their Uber. You don't want to use too late so that you lose all of your players. I mean, you can compensate for the players thing, like using a little later with positioning somewhat, but it's very difficult to do. But look, they're pretty keen here. They're definitely trying to get out. They do end up getting forced very, very early. They're through into that second area. They have picked up one before they got forced, but they haven't actually been able to pick up much else with that Uber, and I think we are going to see a bit of a leapfrog action here as Tao getting very, very close to having Uber. We'll have to see if Shupa can make some of his magic happen again. He's very keen. He's in a spot where no one's seen him. Straubs has seen. Not quite able to make it happen here for Shupa. And they are going to have to back out of this one, I think, and go straight into last. They're facing down, full Uber disadvantage. There is a sentry, which might slow things down a little bit, but it's a grim spot to be in if you freak off.
Yeah. They want to look like they want to go lower to right by the looks of things here, and I think they're just going to use straight through there. Those Ubers getting very close for the side of Freakoff here. Dante staying on last will actually hold that sort of chaos here. Now finally Seeker's getting cleared off the point here. Flare edging the point here, trying to bait it out. There does get flashed, and this Uber is faded now for the side of Danci here. Lev coming up with Uber as well there, so should see a repop coming out from the side of Freakoff, which they do though with 2 plays taken out though for the side of Freakoff here, and this point capture is actually going really well, and looks like the side of Danci just want to re-enter and take this sort of fight onto last here with the demo, and Flare actually living it. However, though, they are just being more sort of smart and conservative and will just play the Uber ad. So actually a really, really smart call coming out from the side of Danci, so trying to see if they can work their way back into last, but however, look like playing a safer game and playing this Uber ad, which is a really, really good call coming up from the side of Danci.
Yeah, I mean, I think Danci could have turned that into a round, but I do think you're exactly right. It's a safer play. It's a play that's more likely to actually give you the round that you want if you use your Uber in through left and then have a heavy follow you up. The heavy coming through that left-hand side for the tail end of this Uber. They're into the last. They have the damage. Lev doesn't even have Uber yet. They're 94%, 95. He's going to lose all his players, and the 98. Round is over. I love a heavy push, bro. It just makes me so happy.
The heavy works as well, for those unaware. It's literally, you push in, the heavy comes in sort of that post sort of phase, and then sits there acting like a, sentry gun support turret.
Yeah, exactly. You just gotta,
you're gonna have to deal with it some way, somehow, and that's the reason why it's sort of meant to be your focus fire target for the opposing team. But a really, really good push coming up from the side of Danci. Finally, 1 round on the board, not taking as long this time, and let's see if Freakoff can, see if they can change things up.
Freakoff have been showing quite a bit of aggression here. They are slowed down a little bit by losing one of their scouts very, very early. Omni down very low, but not low enough. Stam going down as well, and Varna. So it's just Lev and the Demo Man here. Lev does go down, Demo Man goes down, and my apologies. Shupa was still alive. Also goes down. So it's a clean wipe.
That was a very clean mid as well from the side of Danci. Only 1 casualty, and now Fluberad on the side of Tao here, and now just capping second. They can buff players, do the usual sort of routine, spot off classes, spot sentry guns. Shupa coming up on the pyro, looks like, and we do see a Dante and Varna sniper and heavy respectively here. So looks like right side is possibly the call for the side of Danci.
Yeah, they have been spotted there. The sniper's peeking, just looking straight over at that side. The early Uber use getting on through. Schuper's in the wrong position, does end up going down for his efforts, doesn't really achieve too much. They have picked up Straubs nice and early. They picked up Zobel, they picked up Flare and Sunfish as well. Hal having to flee on his lonesome. The holds out of both of these teams are insane, but I have no idea how Freakoff keeps managing to do this, especially as they just picked up Tal, so it's a delayed wipe, which is what I call a work poo. I
feel like something to note as well, the sticky traps that Derp had set up on last were in the corner. I feel like the soldier needed to blast them onto point and then to make life flares a little bit easier clearing it, because those stickies took a while to get cleared to the point where, yeah, Ozzy just sort of died on top of it, basically. But we have a spy!
We do have a spy, and you know how that gets me going, mate. The spy takes the med, the sniper takes Stam, and the spy takes Varner as well.
And he's alive as well, the spy.
Oh, video games, huh?
That's Lev getting taken out as well, and now that's basically, yeah, Uber out for the side of a Danci. Not ideal having two off-classes, definitely, yes. However, though, getting the med pick is definitely what you want there, and they are able to just retake this midpoint there. Mr. Spyman does unfade in front of Tao, but looks like Schuper getting taken out, trying to go for some sort of heroic there.
He's
but
just
like,
playing Gun
full Uber
Spy.
ad.
He's literally just playing Gun Spy. He's only just, like, cloaked again. He's going in. Have they seen it?
They surely know they have a spy. They can't.
They
forget
have
about this
to,
guy,
right?
surely.
What watch is he running? How is this working?
I think he's Cloak and Dagger. He's standing still every now and then. Definitely Cloak and Dag.
Yeah, he is. Okay. Well, look, the Uber comes out. The spy's still up. He's decloaking now to start gunning away.
He's gunning.
Pick up Schuper. They're still stuck on this left-hand side here. This is actually a really poor Uber out of the fellas here. They've lost Straub early. They still have a spy. They've lost Omni as well. Lev still has Uber here, but we see the spy onto the point. Dante there trying to make something happen, trying to get...
Wait, what about...
How is he still alive?
This spy is still... Oh my god, the timing on that as well.
Oh, is he still alive?
They know he's back here. Like, they have to know, right?
Schuper's hanging around, yeah. I mean, look, the second point's been capped, so it's not a massive danger anymore, but how is Zobal still alive, bro? This is insane. Look, Red using their Uber as they come into mid there, just as Tal gets Uber. So while that's happening in the back end, Dante going down. There is a big old Uber fight here, and it's looking absolutely gorgeous for Danci here.
And Zobal's just been wandering around on Spy, playing
still on
Spectator
Spy.
for half his...
Still on Spy. He's at the spawn. He's just waiting for someone to come out. Nothing happens. No one spawned. No one had time to spawn. It was just a foregone conclusion. An excellent fight out of the players on Danci there. They actually did a good job of coordinating their aggression.
I'm also surprised as well the fact that Zobal lived for that long, because having a spy definitely pushing last as well is not ideal. And you need to have, preferably, you want to have two soldiers, but he stayed alive for so long that I feel like, it actually didn't impact the side of it didn't impact Danci as much. They got the frags, they did whatever they needed to do, but yeah, staying that long, staying alive that long for spy is not ideal. But however, new mid.
Yeah, it kind of goes against the common thinking, but you know what else goes against the common thinking? This bizarre fight. There's so much going on. Lev finally going down. Just Varna left alive. Varna managing to pick up the Demo Man in the meantime. Will he manage to pick up another? Not quite Straubs. The Straw Bunny able to succeed in getting that frag. So it's another mid going the way of Danci.
Yeah, but this is the first mid as well that both meds are finally taken out. And actually, better spawn for Tau as well.
Is it? Well, it is.
Yeah.
Like, significantly, too. That's 20...
Yeah.
That's 20%.
Yeah, and...
That's pushable.
He's actually building really well, so that's basically 50% Uber, effectively.
Yeah, he's doing a good job. I have noticed Tal has been building very well, like, the whole way through both of these maps. It's been...
Yeah, definitely.
It has been delightful to watch our CappingTV brethren become one of the best meds in the country. I'll make that call right here, right now. No one can stop me. Look, they're coming straight on through. Shupa tried to get a bomb off, does end up going down. Enough damage done that the full damage just able to clear out Shupa there. But look, Lev's got his Uber, and they pick up 2 with the trap in lobby there. They pick up the Demo Man and Zobal, the soldier, and that's going to slow things down even more.
Looks like the side of Freakoff want to take second, want to try force their way out, probably go for some sort of trade, which looks like they are getting ground here. So finally getting back to second point here. Tao and Co look like they are just falling out back onto this midpoint. But back onto Tao. That was not English before, my goodness. But back onto Tao, finishing second as well. I feel like he gained a lot of experience as well, playing with some of the top players, and judging, as you said earlier, from the way he's playing in this map and even on process, he's actually feel like playing super well, and I feel like he's also improved a lot from last season and sort of, you know, taken what he's learned as well from the previous season he played.
Yeah, I mean, he takes it very seriously, and I think it's starting to show dividends. But look, the push has come through. The rest of the team are able to do things without Cal there. They don't give a shit about their medic. They're able to get in. They're able to get that force, and they picked up 3 frags in the meantime. The spawns are looking pretty favourable for Freakoff here. They are still jammed back into that lobby area, and Tao still has his Uber. They can push in at any given moment. I think they're just playing it safe, capping that second point. They have lost Flare, but I don't know if that's going to slow them down, because they've run into this problem before where they pushed in, they think it's a good Uber, and they're just not able to make things happen quick enough. So, with a couple of players out on this second area, they have picked up Stam, and that gives them what they need to get on in here. Flare about to spawn. They're into that lobby area. They definitely want to make this happen quick. They're going through that left-hand side, 50% Uber on Lev. They're through here. The Uber finally gets used. There is a gun, level 2, on the little mound there. Not able to do very much. There's a couple of frags going one way, one the other way. And there's players yet again just causing problems. But they're not enough problems to stop. Are they not enough problems to stop? Flare, the only player left alive. Stam, on the point. Alive. Oh my god. I'd already written that one off. I was like, oh yeah, no, this is fine. Danci's got this.
How is Flare alive still?
How is Flare alive? Again, I wish to be clear to the viewers who are not aware of this. From memory, he aims with a mouse. Sorry, they aim with a mouse, and
yes,
and they use a controller for movement. So the mere fact that they're able to dodge rockets is what?
Aim assist. No, I don't know.
I'm telling you, dude, it doesn't even make sense. It doesn't make sense.
I mean, the side of Danci now have Uber out, actually, despite that. They get Lev here, and they want to go quick with it. It looks like under. They are going under here. Do they go under? It looks like under to right here. So,
yeah, I mean,
they are getting positioned into lobby here, and they need to go quick. They need to go on the dot, because this Uber is fading quick.
Yeah, the Uber does come out. They have picked up the gun. They picked up Shupa as well. That's definitely what they need. There's so many players in the spawn. They're going to get lost here again. Ryan's definitely able to make some stuff happen, taking out Zoba with a clean air shot. Counter Uber has been used. I don't know if it was super necessary, but there's still so much fighting going on. Flare finally going down. Stam and Lev have also died. Ryan dead as well. It's just Varna, and that is it. We'll have to see, is there anything that Shupa can do here to defend this point? Probably not, down on very, very low health, and that is the 3rd round going the way of Danci.
Yeah, I mean, these last pushes for the side of Danci have been very, I'd say 50-50. They're not 100%, I'd say. Especially as well, some of the traps that Derp's doing are actually working out quite well, especially the ones in the corners there, making it really hard for a scout to clear it, because when they were trying to bait point there, Tao literally unflashed Strawberry, and Strawberry just gets, you know, she's capping it, and then Strawberry just gets dead instantly because the stickies, essentially. Tao also runs out of Uber, I think, as well during that sort of process, but the holds that Freakoff are doing are actually pretty good, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, look, the holds coming out of Freak Out are absolutely insane. Freak Off, sorry, not Freak Out.
Freak Out.
We both were saying it too, that's very funny. Yeah, look, I mean, there's not much to say with this mid. It's just a frag fest, really, but it's a frag fest that's gone in the favour of Danci here. And with 5 minutes left on the map, it's starting to get more and more difficult for us to see a world where Freakoff are getting this one. But hey, look, Banny config. Stranger things have happened.
Yes. Banny config, and hopefully they have the right config on this time. But anyway,
I bet they don't. I would put money on the fact that they don't.
but regardless, though, Danci again have fully brand. But the question is, can they convert this? You know, they're effectively in pole position. They have all the advantages for them. They have the Uber. They have the players. Can they convert one clean or last push without them sort of struggling? And it looks like they are going through right side here already. And Flair merely just crossing point B, lining it towards that spawn, trying to block them out. And finally now getting some cap time onto the point. Get a tremendous amount of cap time. And could this be finally the first sort of clean push that Danci have done? It looks like Frag. So actually, no, I'm going in favor of both sides. There's 3 players taking out from the side for both sides. And that is just strawberry around the point there. Got a bit dicey, but they get the round. I guess all that matters.
Dude, the strawberry cam there was actually hysterical. Just being able to walk in, sort of think about it for a half a second, and then just pop them out and cap immediately.
Basically.
Excellent round. Excellent round.
But it got very close though for Danci. I feel like these last pushes...
No, it really did.
Yes, they're getting the round win, but they're not the cleanest pushes.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's not the world's cleanest pushes, but hey, it's not the world's cleanest game. We're talking about TF2 here. It's dirty, it's gritty, it's New York, baby. Speaking of New York, baby, this is a dirty, gritty mid, where all 6 players on Danci are still alive, and they've just shredded 90% of the team. It's just Shupa trying to make something happen.
Jesus.
Very close to taking out Tile there. That was a...
Drive-by.
That was a drive-by. It was crazy.
Yeah, and full Uber ad now. They're already getting lobby control. I think they just sort of... I feel like Freakoff have also called it, like, lost it. I'm not lost it, but, like it's gone to the dire times, and I think that process game was already drained sort of enough the way it is. But looks like Danci are trying to sort of end this here, and now cap time is getting played. 3 plays life for the side of Freakoff, and that is GG across the board with Danci with the 2-0 victory and a good start to their Season 44 campaign.
Yeah, that is a really good start to their Season 44 campaign. But I don't want to... I don't want anyone thinking that... Freak out. I don't want anyone thinking that Freak Out and or Freak Off are not sort of in this to win this as well, because they have been really showing up for some games there as well. I like... It looks like they kind of got crushed there, but I really wouldn't call it that.
Yeah, I mean, even when you look at the logs, which now are on your guys' screens now on Twitch, but when you look at the general thing, Flair had a amazing game. 307, 25 kills, 5 deaths as well. But the thing is, though, the things that guy was doing, his movement and dodging, especially the 9 HP movement, that was insane. But one thing to note as well is... I guess, if you want to point out, is the fact that, Tao as well, survivability. He's playing incredibly well, the way he's sort of surviving. But then when you look at the side of Freakoff, it looked, to be honest, I feel like definitely a little bit grim. Shupa, I mean, your soldiers going 8 and 3 kills respectively. Not ideal, to be honest. Yes, Shupa got 1 med pick, 1 demo pick, but after that, it was a bit unfortunate, to be honest, to say the least. And I guess, yes, he was trying to make space, make sort of moves happen on those sort of mid fights, but overall, I feel like Danci were, just sort of, in control of the game. You can't write off Freakoff. Definitely had a good few last holds. Danci, yes, still a few things to polish for this map, but overall, I feel like Freakoff's that process game sort of drained them a bit, definitely.
I do have a feeling that might have happened. But the only log that I really want to call out there, I mean, I was gassing him up for a little bit there, but Tao had one of those med games that you kind of dream about. I don't know how much Meta you played, but that's just beautiful. I mean, less than 1,500 damage taken already feels good.
Definitely.
That's satisfying.
Yeah.
You can do better,
No,
but
that's
it's
definitely good.
You feel great. 4 deaths, again, you can do better, but it feels great. That would have been a really fun one for Tal. It just looks mathematically enjoyable. 11 Ubers, 0 drops.
Something to point out as well, I just want to show, is the average time to build. Surprisingly, Lev was building quite quick, but then I feel like they were just hard grinding a lot just on last. Varna just grinding crazily.
They would have to have built quick because they were all taking damage all the time.
Also, Varna as well. Just want to point out 40% heals basically almost. So I think
Beast.
that tells you what happened during the game on the side of Freakoff, basically. But there is something else also I do want to look at as well, is just in general the amount of picks that people were getting. Because when you look at this as well, Omni, despite playing basically off-classing and changing 22 kills, he played incredibly well. I just want to point out, and the fact that him able to get 5 med picks as well, being the most in the server, is pretty good. And 5 of those deaths then for Lev was just Omni sort of going in with Sniper or Soldier trying to take out Lev there. But yeah, definitely contributing a lot for the side of Danci, but then also the side of Zobal as well on Soldier, 3 med picks as well. So definitely getting the frags needed for the side of Danci in Snakewater.
Yeah. No, I think it was a really good game. Danci, I would say, are one of the clear favourites to actually sort of take this one, like the season.
Yes.
So it's really good to see them sort of getting involved in such a fashion so early into the season. Because oh man, that was like I kept saying it. That was just beautiful TF2, especially like the first half of process there. Both teams were just playing like nearly ideal TF2. It was beautiful, really good to watch. Really, really good to watch.
Yeah,
I'm glad to have been here with one of my best buddies, Ghost.
Yes, but then there's also something to note as well. There's something also to note as well. I was want to say is, Danci getting the 2-0 definitely helps, but now I think after 2-0, I think their run, if I'm not mistaken, depending on how the draw works for Prem and how they do the drawing and everything for next round, I think it will get harder for them, because there is a chance they could have to verse one of these higher seed teams, yes, possibly, and even in round 2 straight up, who knows? But you have to get to see how the other results pan out. Obviously, one team had a bye, so that works a bit differently. But yeah, overall, good start for Danci on their campaign for season 44, and Freakoff, I guess, still the season ahead.
A bit of improvement to be done, but I don't want to say Freakoff were playing badly. I think they were playing really well. I think they definitely had some flashes of like sheer and utter brilliance there. They're just going to have to work on that and make sure they can make it a bit more consistent. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not really in a position to be coaching these players.
I mean, I feel like they just need it's just more scrims and just a general sort of team discussions, demo reviews, just the normal sort of stuff. But I think as well, be your players like Shupa, who haven't played in a while, sort of getting up to speed with what's going on. Who's he playing against, these players, these names? Because there's definitely a lot of newcomers coming into the scene. I guess Dante as well, sort of finding his footing in Prem. But I think overall, the team of Freakoff probably will evolve. And there's definitely teams in Prem this season where they could definitely take the fight and definitely trade maps or take even maps off them. But I've just got a message. My Mr. Producer has been typing, and I see a big highlighted new message in Discord saying about a Brisbane LAN that's coming up.
Yeah, we should plug that one more time before we go, I think.
Yes.
So once again, ladies and gents, there's a man right here who would love to cook you a sausage. His name is Lameshade22, and he'd love to see you at the Brisbane LAN on January 17th at the Bliss HQ. Whether you're coming there as a spectator or whether you're coming there to play, it'll be a day full of fun and Team Fortress. I don't think we're going to be too crazy serious about this one, so bring some stupid hats or whatever. I don't know.
Bring your Bunnings hats. Bring your bring something. Bring your.
Maybe we'll. If we get enough sign-ups and maybe enough spectators coming, maybe we'll sort out some sort of little Kmart pool situation for the summer factor. Maybe we could get some mojitos of a virgin variety. I promise. Going on something like that.
Mocktail, as we call it.
Yes, a mocktail. Yes. You're exactly right, Ghost.
Correct.
But either way, it'll be a lot of fun. So if anyone is still on the fence about signing up, getting your 6 together, do it. It'll be a bit of fun. We still got some slots left.
Oh.
And I heard something from my producer who I didn't understand a word of. Yeah, tickets on sale next month. So do purchase those. We'll keep them We'll keep
Yeah.
them at a reasonable price, I think. I don't know.
I mean, look,
I don't know.
I'll be there. Snazzy will be there. I hope I'll be there because I live 5 minutes from the venue.
You better be there, man.
I hope I'll be there. But otherwise, look, yeah, tickets on sale next month, so not long to go. But these tickets sell out very quickly, so you need to get in there fast.
Yeah, I mean, that one does fill up because it's a smaller venue than the Melbourne Land. But yes, thank you very much to both of the teams. I'm glad that everyone tuned in to watch the round one of ozfortress Spring 2025, also known as Season 44. God, that's horrifying. Good lord. Thank you very much for tuning in, everyone. Big shout out to you, the viewer. You're who we live for. I live and breathe specifically to yarn about Team Fortress, or at least I'm going to pretend to for a little bit. My name's been Lameshade 22. We've had the unbelievable Mitchell on the production as usual, the best in the business, and Ghost. It's been lovely seeing you once again.
Indeed, and I'll quickly, shout out. Obviously, thank you, Mitch, and both teams, obviously, for playing, Mitch for producing. Thank you, Snazzy, for casting along with me. And yeah, let's wrap things up. But otherwise, see you guys next week. I gotta go back to watching Worlds. So bye bye, good night, and stay safe.
Fair enough.